Welcome to Money 911, your go-to podcast for financial wisdom and inspiration. I'm Kris Miller, your host, and today's episode is going to be an absolute game changer. We're delving into the world of philanthropy and innovation with an extraordinary guest, Chase Harmer, the visionary and founder of Wishes & Company. Get ready to be inspired as we uncover Chase's remarkable journey from building a $500 million fintech empire to revolutionizing charity giving. Stay tuned because you won't want to miss a second of this episode. All right, Chase, your journey from fine tech industry, the give back world is remarkable and inspiring. So, there's a transition. I went through that like midlife where it was like, successful business. And then it's like, it's not all about me. I want to give this back. So what was it inside of you that made you want to transition from a successful business to creating a positive social impact with the wishes?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, it was just a natural transition because I had been building technology to solve the supply chain issues, like consumer purchases to supply payments. And essentially, that's really all we're doing here. Really, is I built a technology to kind of be the whole economy of the transaction in the business world. And I was like, well, the biggest problem inside of the charitable giving space is that you never know where the donations go. And so, I was giving back and I was trying to figure out where my money was going, how it impacted people. And I was like, well, I built this whole entire system to solve the business problems. It's basically, I mean, nonprofit people don't look at nonprofit like it's a business. It's an actual business, and the supply chain is the donor, and the impact is the second part of that donation, right? So it's basically the supply chain for a donation transaction, making it transparent all the way through, and really just connecting the dots. And I'm every time that we talk about what we're doing here, people just go like, "How come it wasn't done sooner?"
Right.
Like what
Yeah.
was like you know
Right. Where you been?
versus has existed yet. I think it's just one of those things. It's like, people were trying to do this to build transparency inside the charitable giving space, but they were trying to do it through blockchain. And unfortunately, blockchain is really not mainstream technology that people use on a daily basis. So that's why it never really took off. But I think
Right.
we made it we didn't change user behavior, we made it simple and easy to use. And I think that's why it's going to work,
Right. And it's so perfect because that's exactly what I came up to is, when you're giving to these, you don't know where the money goes. That's
Right.
just, and,
Every grocery store is asking you for a dollar. You're wondering like,
hmm
but it's
right,
for the kids. You're like, what kids? Like, no one
right,
tells you. And then the grocery store is taking a tax deduction for all that money.
exactly.
No consumers actually getting a benefit from
Yep.
that. They actually never know what happens to the money. I mean, I think the problem that we're solving inside of the charitable giving space is connection.
hmm
There is no
Right.
connection when you give. Like, you have no idea what actually happens to the money. You give because you're rewarded for tax deductibility, hopefully. And hopefully it's going to something good and you feel kind of good about that, but you really don't know if you don't know what happens and you don't know the impact that you're creating, like
Yeah.
what are you really doing?
Right. Right.
Yeah,
It's more than a tax write-off.
sure. Exactly.
Well, Wishes in Company, it's transforming the way that fundraising is done. So maybe you could share with everybody your innovative approach to making a tangible difference in the lives of those that need.
Sure. Well, I think one of the biggest problems outside of the transparency and the other things that we do is getting the funds fast and delivering them to the people that need it. So for instance, like the players in the market, GoFundMe, it takes about 10 days to get any donations delivered to whoever's on the other side of that transaction. And then you really don't understand what happens after that. Facebook, which is probably one of the biggest giving platforms online, they don't actually deliver the funds from anything they collect for every quarter. So it takes 3 months to get funds from any campaign that you run on there. So if you're giving to a campaign on Facebook, you probably weren't aware that those funds weren't delivered for like another like 90 days potentially. And then on
Hmm.
Instagram, which is another big giving platform, 45 days. So I think we actually are able to deliver services same day, and resources and support and stuff like that same day, and transfer the money into the people that need it. How we actually do this is if you look at the market and the crowdfunding platforms that exist, they're built as for-profit companies. So the biggest problem that they have, well, one of the problems that they have, the many problems they have is they can't offer tax deductibility on an individual donation, right? So pretty much anyone that goes on GoFundMe is an individual that has a problem. Tommy broke his leg, or my mom has cancer, or whatever the problem is, right? Um, but you can't actually get a tax write-off giving to an individual without actually as a for-profit company. You can't give to an individual and get a tax write-off. That's not acceptable. But because we have a 501(c)(3 public charity, all of the donations go through the 501(c), and then our nonprofit governs the impact of that transaction. So essentially, any donation that you make through Wishes, whether it's to a charity cause, crisis, or an individual, it's tax deductible. Additionally, we turn those donations into virtual MasterCards. So essentially, we plug those into an actual MasterCard that gets delivered instantly to the Apple and Google Wallet to the other side of that transaction. And then on our platform where our wishers are, we have call it like a big shopping mall, like almost like the Apple Store, right? Where you go in there, you can get any app you want. In our platform, it's thousands of retailers, the biggest box retailers in the United States. So, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Sam's Club, Costco, whatever you're needing, whether that's a plane ticket, Expedia.com, Booking.com, those types of places, the rideshare, Lyft to Uber, anything that you need, groceries, list goes on and on. You can get it inside of our platform. And those dollars, once they're delivered to the wishers, they can instantly start spending
Mm.
inside of the portal. And so they can instantly get the services and stuff that they need. And then you as a donor, because we're the card issuer and we can always see those transactions, just like when you go make a transaction at the grocery store, you can see it on your credit card right when you come home, or right on your phone, right when you make it. It's like, bing, oh, it's been 20 bucks or whatever, right? Same thing here on our platform. So when a wisher actually spends money anywhere in the platform for whatever it is that they need, you're notified that those dollars have been spent, that your money's been allocated, and you can see the impact that you're making. So if you're helping a family with groceries, you know that they actually got groceries, and you help someone and it made an impact.
Yes,
So
awesome. That this is has to be the best one I've ever heard of. Seriously. And
thank you.
I mean just learning really right now. I had a good feeling about you, but I just, because, I have a mastermind in C called Conscious Giving Council, and part of
Oh,
the motivation, right,
yeah,
was, and we'll definitely have you as a seed inside of this thing, because
great.
part of the
Yeah,
thing was the same thing of like, everybody, they've been successful, but they nobody's really trusting where the money's like, okay, let's
sure,
just do it ourselves, right? Take
sure.
control, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, the reason why I really wanted to do it was because I think, you rewind about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, there just was like every time you turn on the news, there was like a hurricane, tornado,
Right,
there's a flood. I mean, and it's just,
right.
I don't know, climate change, whatever it is, but like there's just so much crazy stuff going on every time
It
you turn on the
is.
news. But how do you
Yep.
help that? How do you help that person? How do you help that family? How do you help that
Right.
cause? And those dollars are allocated. And if you take like the Maui fires, for example, Maui fires,
Yeah. Yeah.
like big charities like the Red Cross, and they're a great organization, but they're a huge organization. And when you donate to the Red Cross, it goes into a bucket, right?
Yep.
It doesn't necessarily go
Yep.
to that cause on the ground floor, right? So you
Right.
think you're donating towards these people that are suffering out there, but you're actually just putting it in the pot, and they're allocating dollars how they see fit. So,
Yeah.
you know, we wanted to be able to change that and help the individual be able to control the destiny of those dollars.
Yeah, some of the information I've seen about these big charitable places is disgusting, actually. If
Yeah.
it's, for what I was looking at was real of what really gets to the people and not the CEOs or whatever. So,
Yeah, I mean, when you go to when you pull up to a nonprofit and then the parking lot's full of Mercedes-Benz, like, what do
mm,
you know,
right. Exactly. There it is there, right.
yeah,
You you've had incredible success, and I I'm really excited about what you're talking about here. And so it's a game changer and the impact. And so there's a lot of things that I'm sure you're proud of it, but what is one thing that sort of just after, you're launching it right now, and it's
yeah.
coming out March or inside of
March
March.
19th. Yeah, March 19th. So I think, what we're really excited about is actually true innovations. It's like when the next iPhone 15 or 16, whatever comes out, like there's not real innovation, right? They're just putting a gadget on it. They're making the picture better or whatever. Like charitable giving really hasn't been changed in forever, right? And so
Right.
like what we're really doing is we rebuilt the financial infrastructure so that way we can actually change the way people give and actually make it user friendly and rewarding, tax deductible and transparent. And I think that's real innovation, like changing an industry. And so I think this really has the potential to change the entire industry because, if all things are being created equal, you can go to GoFundMe, you can go to a charity, any of those other options, you're not getting a tax deduction. You're not actually understanding where the money's going. But if you could actually do the same exact thing through wishes and always understand where your money's going and you get rewards and you obviously are earning tax deductions. It's like all things being created equal. It's kind of like a no-brainer. Like, we really built it for donors, by donors. I mean, I'm a donor. I built it because I wanted to understand. And actually really just kind of build connection. As humans, we really are connected people. Like we want to understand and we want to be connected. That's what we're built for as human beings, right? And if you're just
Right.
giving just and you never know, like there's
Yeah.
no connection in giving anymore.
Exactly.
Is it gone? Like you go to a
Yeah.
grocery store, you don't know where that money's going. And
Exactly.
the worst part about it is the grocery store is claiming that whole entire tax deductibility. So
Mm.
yeah, they're taking your money and they claim the whole tax deduction. It's
Right.
pretty good. I mean, it's a pretty good model, actually.
Yeah.
Um,
Right. But not right. Right.
yeah, right.
So, and so essentially, if I'm say, for profit, I could donate, but it's going into the nonprofit, is that, so I would still get a tax deduction?
Yeah, well, I mean, what do you mean? Yeah, so if a corporation or individual or whoever, if they're making a donation to any story, charity cause, crisis, whatever, we're connected to all of we're connected to Canada on the back end, so we can validate charities and causes and things like this. But we also can see everything in real time. And that's the difference, right? So when you hear about the horror stories on GoFundMe, it's because it goes into a black box called a bank account.
Oh,
Bank account
right.
is owned by somebody or something or
Right.
someone else. And so once those dollars are there, it's adios, right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
lose all insight into that. So I think any corporation, any influencer, and this is also part of what we built it, a corporate executive that has a big audience that he's speaking to, an influencer like a Deepak Chopra or somebody that has a big audience that wants to activate that audience for a cause or a crisis, they can come on there. We manage all the tax deductibility, we manage all the rewards, all the donations, and then he can actually re-engage, or that influencer can re-engage with his audience and say, look what we did with this money, look what we did together, right?
Yeah.
When a typical nonprofit raises money for whatever cause their mission that they're supporting, the typical next phone call for that nonprofit is, hey, we have another cause that we need money for you from you, right? Well, it's much easier conversation for that nonprofit to say, hey, look what we did with your money. Thank you so much. You made a real big impact. By the way, we have another mission that we're trying to do, and we'd love you to participate. That's a much easier conversation to have than, hey, we need more money, but hey, we can't tell you what we did with your money last time.
Right. That's it right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Because that phone call will happen either way, right? But
right.
I think it's a much easier conversation for the nonprofit to have. So on both sides of the coin, the nonprofits are able to raise more money because they are being transparent with the way that they're doing their business, and people believe they can actually see the results of those
See the
donations.
results. Right.
And then
Right.
donors,
Yeah.
obviously, it's a no-brainer for them because
Yeah.
they can always understand, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's really clear. So, you're an entrepreneur, philanthropist, and all. What values do you believe that's essential to driving meaningful change? And I can already say what you've already said, but maybe elaborate more on how you've incorporated this into Wish
Yeah,
Income.
well, I think, the when I dare say revolutionize, but it is really innovation. So
It
when
is,
you
yeah.
really change the infrastructure of like how things are done,
Mhm.
the only way that it will get adoption is if you don't change user behavior, right? So people don't want to actually change, but they want the results of the change, right?
Boom.
So
Right.
exactly.
Exactly.
So I think that's what we really did is we built a platform that, it uses everyone. So everyone's used to paying with their phone. Everyone's used to getting money on their phone and spending money this way online. And so we didn't change the user behavior. We didn't change the way that you purchase. We didn't change, the way that you receive or give. We really just changed the way that you see things. And I think that's really the difference. And so that's why it'll get a lot of adoption is because we didn't change user behavior. And I think that's really the most important thing. And that's
Yeah.
really what we try to
Right.
stay true to because that's why the blockchain stuff in the past, it never really worked. There's sites out there that like, we claim transparency. Well, I got news for you, buddy. Credit cards have been doing blockchain
Right.
ledgers for like 40 years, right? I mean, when that's all it is creating ledgers every single time you make a purchase, right?
Huh.
And that's how you create transparency. That's what blockchain's for. But credit cards has been doing this for what, 40, 50 years? So, it's just it's we didn't want to change user behavior, and I think that's really why it's going to work. You know,
So it is not blockchain. It's not built on blockchain. I'm not
I
techie.
mean, we have blockchain capabilities, but
Yeah.
we're utilizing credit card rails to do everything.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so credit cards in, and then we turn those credit card donations into credit cards on the back end. So
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, so it's really credit cards all the way
Very
through. So we have
cool.
a partnership with MasterCard and a few different banks, and
Yeah.
essentially all those donations come in, they go through the 501(c). The cool thing about the front side of the donations is if you did a category specific donation. So let's just take that Maui fire example for
Yeah.
again. So someone needs their house burned down, they need a place to stay tonight, so they need a hotel for the night, or they need an airline ticket to fly back to California with their family because
Right.
God forbid something happened to the family out here and they just don't want to be there. You can actually go and buy an airline ticket or for that person. So, hey, I want to donate to the airline category or the
Nice.
restaurant category, the grocery category. But most people on their own credit card, they actually get cash back and rewards for hitting those categories, right? So your credit card issuer, when you spend through Wishes and you donate through Wishes, they'll see it as a hotel purchase or they'll see it as a restaurant purchase or a grocery purchase. So you'll get your cash back and rewards from your donation
Wow.
and your tax deductibility. And then we turn that
Sign me
into
up.
exactly. Then we turn that into a usable card that can only be utilized for a hotel purchase or an airline ticket. So if someone's saying, "Hey, I need money for an airline ticket. I got to get out of here. I don't have a house tonight." So it's like, dude,
Mhm.
I'm gonna help you, right?
Yeah.
We'll get you a hotel room. You actually will get your points on your for getting your hotel room or the airline ticket. Your own points from your own credit card from using the platform.
This is brilliant, really brilliant, man. I'm blown away. I'm sure you face lots of setbacks and you've almost answered this, what I was going to
Mhm.
ask you, but
Sure.
what keeps you motivated and inspired? Because, I'm sure you've had a little bit of pushback or it's just
Oh
been a
yeah.
flow,
Yeah.
right?
Anytime you try to change something, I mean, first of all, we work with banks. So,
Oh, there it is.
um,
That's right.
yeah. So that's challenging a lot. I mean, the compliance alone, because of the fact that it's a new model, it's never been done. And, GoFundMe is riddled with a lot of fraud. Like, so when they look at our model and they say, oh,
Mm,
well, it's like the people are creating stories, like how are you going to compete all this fraud? So the compliance was extremely rigorous. And that was probably the toughest part of this process is that, oh, no, no, you can't. So we build for this. Oh, no, 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 you can't do it that way. This isn't going to work. But then they lead you down this path. It's almost like, I don't know if you know this, but like the old like mortgage industry, when you submit a whole bunch of docs and you're ready, you start building stuff, and they're like, no, 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 we don't need this. This is what we need. And they get a whole like another set of
right,
checklists.
right.
Exactly. You
Yeah,
submit all the docs. Wait, no, now we need this and this. This is
right.
basically like the life of building a startup is
Mm,
that's like what you're up against most of the time.
right. And
Yeah.
but the vision is so, so inspiring that you just bust it on through it.
Yeah, no, they see it. They see it
Yeah.
and they want us to go live. So, we
Okay.
have that going for us. And, that's what got us to the finish line because there's
Yeah.
been definitely a lot of challenges for breaking the rules of how this is supposed to get done.
This is
You know,
awesome. Well, look
yeah.
into the future. What's your aspirations to Wish and Company, and how do you envision it continuing to make a difference for lives on a grand scale?
Yeah, well, our real vision is to help a billion people. So my first company was to make $1 billion. See this B right here in my arm is for a billion. I was dead set on making $1 billion company, and then but this is B 2.0, so it's to help a billion people.
Okay.
So we're trying to help a billion people, and that's our vision. We believe that this has the power to like change charitable giving forever. So because of the we believe that the success and impact of what we're doing will make such a big difference that there'll be a lot of copycats afterwards, and that just giving credence to what we're doing. And I think we're just going to be the first. And in this situation, I think it pays to be first. So because anyone else is just going to want to be Wishes.
Wishes
They're just going
come
to be wishing
true.
on a
Yeah,
star.
they'll just be wishing.
That's
But
right.
right, right. Well, this is really fabulous, and I'm beyond excited. I can think of all kinds of things that I would use it for, and tell other people to use it for. Absolutely, and the prayer is all the wishes and dreams come true.
Yeah.
So There you
And that's
go.
actually just as you said, prayer. One of the cool things about our platform is that you can be involved as a donor and just send messages and prayers instead of actually
Oh,
somebody on the other side, instead of actually financially contributing, because
yeah.
sometimes people just don't have the financial capacity to give,
Yes,
but they want to, send messages and vibes. And I think that
that's
we
right.
want to get people involved into the matrix. And so
Yes.
part of our platform is, messaging capabilities where you can actually send messages and
Oh,
things like
that's
that.
beautiful because they
Yeah.
prayers do work, and sometimes
Yeah.
people are so alone or going through a medical,
Right.
just getting that support. I just watched it this morning. A whole miracle happened because of all the people who were around for someone going through a medical thing, and boom,
Sure.
unexpected miracle,
Right.
boom.
Yeah.
Right.
No, it happens.
So
I mean, miracles are real. So
yeah, yeah, for sure. Well, wishes in company is a miracle coming to earth. And, who knows, heaven on earth, bring peace on earth for every living thing. That's the prayer. Hey,
yeah.
it's fun having you, and we really want to support this organization, and we wish you the best. Thank you
Hey,
so
thank you so
much.
much. I appreciate the time.
That's a wrap for today's episode of Money 911. I hope you've been as inspired as I have by Chase Harmer's incredible journey and the impactful work of Wishes Inc. Remember, no dream is too big. With innovation and determination, we can all make a difference in the world. Be sure to visit chaseharmer.com and learn more about Wishes Inc. and how you can get involved. Until next time, stay motivated, stay empowered, and keep chasing your dreams. This is Kris Miller signing off. Take care. God bless. There's so much to learn about healthy money. I hope today's discussion brings you one step closer to securing and protecting your future. So you can get started on the right foot, go to meetwithkrismiller.com and schedule your free financial fitness strategy session. Thank you for listening, and please subscribe to Money 911 so you don't miss our next episode, which includes health, wealth, and peace of mind.